I'm so honored to have you here in Heavy Mental, that is my program in Radio Metal Warriors Peru, and to be able to have an interview with you. So I want to say thank you for that.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for being interested in interviewing me.
Tonight, I want to know you a little bit, about your steps in face warning, and also about your work and solo projects. So
Okay.
thank you for your time, and I'm really looking forward for everyone, including me, to get to know you a little bit better.
Great. Thank you.
How did you join Fates Warning, and how did you feel to be part of a band that has such a long history?
Well, I started playing with Fates Warning in 2013, and I began as I guess it was sort of last minute. The previous guitar player, Frank Oresti, wasn't able to do the tour that was lined up for Darkness and Different Light, and that was the record that the band released in October of 2013. And there were some other guitar players, I guess, who maybe were going to play, but they weren't able to at the last moment. So they found me through a mutual friend by the name of Jeremy Sapper, who's a photographer in this area, and he's also currently the editor for Outburn magazine now. He wasn't at the time, but he is now. So we've known each other for years, and I think Jim knew Jeremy, and then Jeremy recommended me. And so I think you asked what it feels like to, or at least initially felt like to play with the guys. It's pretty overwhelming in a great way, Yeah, it was wonderful. It was great, and I've had a really great time playing with them over the years. We've gotten to know each other well.
And this is the third album you have worked on with the band. I read that Ray Alder commented that this album is special. It's like a summary or reflection of all the years of the band, and it has many different sounds that you usually compose. Do you think the same way?
Yeah, I hear that. So Jim Matheos writes, all the music, and Jim and Ray, they write, virtually all the music. And I do hear it as a bit of a survey of what they've done over the years. But it's also very modern. It's a modern Fates Warning record. But there are very progressive parts of it that maybe you wouldn't have heard even on records in the last 10 or 20 years that they've done. Very progressive parts. But then there's like that really, great modern Fates Warning songwriting that they're known for. So yeah, I think it's one of their more diverse records that they've put out, that they've written.
And how has COVID affected the band and this new album released?
Yeah, it affected the recording process. Back in the spring, I know there was a little bit of difficulty accessing studios. Most of us record on our own, but I know Ray lives in Madrid, and the lockdowns had begun before he had finished recording his vocals, and I know that was a bit of an issue. Of course, he did finish them. He did end up finishing them, but initially that's how it affected it. And then not being able to tour when the record comes out is kind of it's just unfortunate, because that's just typically what you do when you release a new record, and it's exciting, and it's great for us as a band, and it's great for the fans too. That's not to say there won't be touring in the future. It's just all the schedule is a COVID schedule now,
Yes, I think that it's for a band or for musician in general, it's hard not to be in tour. Um, so you have a new album and you want to go on tour and share this new material with all the fans. So I think I imagine that it is very hard.
Yeah. I mean, it's just different. It's not what we would ideally like, but nothing's ideal now. Everyone's just adjusting to the new world that we're in. So
That's the new normal thing.
yeah, exactly.
So tell us a little bit about the songs of this new album that Face Warning recently released, Long Day Good Night.
Well, like I said, they're quite a survey of songs. One of my favorites is Under the Sun. I only played on 3 of the songs, in the way of, contributing guitar solos. Shuttered World, The Way Home, and Longest Shadow of the Day. But I love the other songs just as much, even though I didn't play on them. Like I said, Under the Sun is one of my favorite ones. I think it's just a beautiful song, and Ray sounds fantastic on it.
And are you guys preparing some a production for the new music video of any song of the album?
Not to my knowledge. There were some videos that were released, but they didn't have any performances in them or anything like that.
Video lyrics like that.
Exactly, yeah. And it's really just because we're not able to comfortably travel. We all live far from each other. So that's not to say something couldn't happen in the future, but I don't know if there's anything being talked about yet.
Okay. I know that aside from playing with Face Warning, you also work with Ray on his personal projects. Tell us a little bit about the experience of accompanying him playing the guitar and also the bass on his first solo album. I saw you in the video.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, well, me and Ray, we get along really well as friends, and he's just a great guy. All the guys are great guys, but Ray has just a very the way he sings is very emotional. It's very soulful, and I really feel like I understand what he's doing and what he's looking for. That's not to say I can just write the perfect song for him, but I kind of know what I want to hear him play on, and fortunately what I was able to offer him for songs for his solo record, he felt like they resonated with him as well. He liked them, and so of course we recorded them. He's very easy to work with. It's just kind of like create some songs, create a vibe, and if he's feeling it, then he's into it. He gets excited about it, and we have direction to go in. If not, then he'll offer you some suggestions to change, or maybe it just doesn't have the right fit, so we'll try something different. But I've always been a huge fan of his voice and the way he sings, and I feel really lucky to be able to make music with him and contribute to what he's putting out. So that's exciting for me.
You also just released a solo album called Heart Signal. And how did the idea of coming up with a solo album originate?
Well, I've always written instrumental music since really before I was in bands, and writing solo instrumental music is just for me always a way to explore music, and as a guitar player, and really kind of understand the depths of music that I wanted to explore with total freedom, and so Heart Signal's the 4th solo record that I had done, and I always keep going back and doing another solo record because there's always more that I want to explore. There's more that I'm inspired to explore. And I always want to keep making music and learning and journeying through it. And so I've always done solo music because it's always been just kind of on my terms, and I can just do it whenever I want. I can release it whenever I want, and I can explore it however I want. So that's kind of just been an ongoing thing for me since the beginning, and I'll probably always continue to do solo records for that reason.
And maybe you are thinking to make a collaboration with another musicians?
There are lots of musicians I'd love to collaborate with. Well, I mean, Ray, for one, I had the opportunity to collaborate with him. I hope we can do it again in the future. There are so many musicians out there that I can't even begin to think of, who would be at the top of my list. But any of the musicians with like an identity, with like a particular sound, I really love. I think, it's funny. I think a lot of times when I hear musicians, I'm inspired by them, and I'm just like really loving what they're doing. It doesn't really cross my mind like, I'd like to make music with them. I just kind of like enjoy what they do, And if I did have the opportunity to make music with any of them, I would jump at the opportunity, and I'd be very lucky for it.
Yes, I'm curious about. I want to know why you picked the name of the album. For me, it sounds deep and romantic. It's like the description of the melodies that you come up with when you're playing the guitar. I think about that when I read the title of the album, the name of the album. So I'm very curious to know why you picked that name.
For Heart Signal?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, interesting. Well, it's kind of deep, I guess. It's whenever I write music, I don't, at least my instrumental music, I don't set out to create a certain idea or a theme or anything. I write what comes to me. I write what feels right. And then I think about it, and I imagine where it came from, and I think about, how it resonates with me, and that's where the song titles come from. And so Heart Signal, I think, with this record was sort of a common theme where you just kind of like listen to your intuition, and a lot of people would connect that intuition to, their heart, and that's kind of where that comes from. The title track, Heart Signal, there's a title track that goes a little bit more specific in talking about just how the body, it's very paradoxical in how the body is very fragile, but in it's how it's so fragile. It's a reflection of how great the mind can be, and when you use your imagination. And so that song is a bit of an acknowledgement of that paradox, how the world is so big and we have so much that we have access to in our intuition, in our minds, in our hearts. Yet life is so short, and it can end at any moment, and so that title and that song in particular kind of embody that, and it seemed to be the theme that sort of ran throughout the record.
Yeah, especially nowadays that we have all this illness out there, and we have to stay at home for being safe and alive for a lot of people. It's very hard. Well, We were very lucky to have you here to visit our country. Do you remember something that you like a lot from Peru? Maybe the landscape, the food, or maybe the crazy crowd?
Yeah, by far the people that I met, and I didn't get, so yeah, the people I met were just, everyone was beautiful, everyone was wonderful, you know, and maybe it's because they were Fate's Warning fans, you know, so it's like we already have a connection with music, but it's just, I love meeting other people that aren't from where I live, who I just like, you know, can connect with, because we both have the same love, you know, for, you know, be it music or life or whatever. And I experienced that a lot with the people that I met in Peru. And that was probably the highlight for me. I didn't get to explore the geography much, but I love the mountains. When we did a little bit of traveling, I saw some of the mountains, and you know, we don't have mountains like that in the Northeast United States where I live, so it was pretty special to see all that. I think if I was there a lot more, for a lot longer, I would have loved to, you know, explore and visit some different historical sites.
Okay, and without a doubt, music unites people regardless of their differences and distances. I know you've made friends in Peru, and some of those were the guys from Fallen Symmetry. I believe you played together in 2018 for Lima Metal Fest and also traveled together after that. Would you like to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, the guys in Fallen Symmetry were great. I mean, they're a great band, first of all, great players and really nice people. And yeah, we played together twice. Yeah, I believe it was twice. I enjoyed their set both times, and you know, we had hung out also afterwards, and yeah, it was great. We kind of kept in touch, and Gustavo asked me to you know, contribute a guest guitar solo on some of their music, and it was great. I had a great time doing it. It was inspiring to play on what they did, and yes, it's been nice keeping in touch with them.
Yes, and for that, for keep that friendship, soon you have a collab with the guys. I know it's for the virtual festivals Metal Invaders and Campana del Infierno. And how did the guys reach you out to collaborate with them? And how did you manage the work long distance?
Well, we had kept in touch. I think I sent Gustavo my I sent him Heart Signal, and he really liked it, and he asked me if I was interested in playing on one of the Fallen Symmetry songs, and of course I was. And when we worked remotely together, it's really just sending files back and forth. So he'll send me a track, he'll send me the song, and then I'll record in my home studio here my parts, and then I'll send them back to him, and then he can put them into the song. It's just how most of us musicians work remotely. But it's great because we're thousands and thousands of miles apart, and we're able to do this, you know, so it's a nice thing.
What's your point of view on virtual or online concerts or festivals? Did you play in any before?
No, I never have, because it's a relatively new thing, I guess, for all of us. It's exciting. I think it's great. I'm anxious to attend the festivals coming up, you know, online, attend them, and just kind of you know, watch and enjoy and observe. It's a new thing. I haven't watched anything like that before online, and I haven't been a part of anything like that before. So I'm kind of just open-minded to it and interested to just experience it.
Yeah. Uh, it's very special that it will be your first virtual concert with Fallen Symmetry.
Yeah.
Can you say a few words to all your fans here in Peru and our listeners in Radio Metal Warriors Peru?
Oh yeah, of course. Thank you for listening to this interview and being interested in me and having me a part of your music. And I mean, I know the Fallen Symmetry guys had me a part of their music, but just the fact that we're so far away, but we can interact and make music together is it's a special thing for me. And everyone who's tuning in and listening and interested, it's like it just makes it wonderful. So thank you so much for being here and being a part of this.
Well, that was really great, and thank you again for having this awesome interview with me for all the Peruvian metalheads. And I want to open up the space in which you can count on me and this platform here in Peru to share your work, whether it's with a band or anything you are working on. And also, I hope that when the pandemic ends and this or crazy stuff out there ends, you can come back to visit us.
Oh, I'd love to. I can't wait to visit Peru again and see everyone and meet everyone again.